Hallelujah, 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 Hosanna. He has made me glad, oh, he has made me glad. I will rejoice, for he has made me glad. He has made me glad, oh, he has made me glad. I will rejoice, for he has made me glad. When all my world seemed oh so dark, he turned my darkness into light. When mountains stood in my way, he turned them into a plain. He made the crooked places smooth, he has made me glad. When going through the wilderness, he made a way for me. He told me he will never leave me, he held me by the hand. He turned my sorrows into praises, he has made me glad. He has made me glad. He has made me glad. Oh, he has made me glad. I will rejoice, for he has made me glad. He has made me glad. He has made me glad. Hallelujah. Oh, he has made me glad. I will rejoice, for he has made me glad. Lord, receive. Going up, from glory to glory, going up, going up. Nakoyemba lelo pona kosepelisa yawe. Nakoyemba yemba lelo pona kosepelisa yawe. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. He uses things that are useless to make them useful. If the world says you are powerless, in Jesus you are powerful. He took me from zero to make me a hero. What my mother could not do, and what my father could not do, what the doctors could not do, and what the world could not do. My Jesus gives me joy. De la boue il m'a tiré pour me donner la forme. De jeter il m'a aimé, Jésus mérite ma louange. Ce que l'homme ne peut pas faire, ce que ton père ne peut pas faire, ce que l'homme ne peut pas faire, il a fait ça pour moi.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Talk to Me. Welcome, welcome one more time. We are here and it's another wonderful session. And if you're just connecting right now, tell a friend, a family member. Rose Bijou Ramirez is on Talk to Me right now. Thank you for welcoming me into your homes. Please share me on your big screen TV at home so you can see this wonderful, colorful studio. It's colorful. Heaven Above Studios. I want to welcome you all, faithful people that like to follow Talk to Me. Talk to Me is about subjects faced by real people with real problems. And today, I have one of a taboo subject that I want us to talk about. I like to bring topics that people don't like to talk about, that people shy away from, with the aim of teaching, inspiring, encouraging, and opening our eyes to things that we would be otherwise blind about. So right now, I just want to thank God for this platform. Above all, I give God the glory and God all the thanks for making today possible, for allowing me to be alive, for allowing you to be alive. I welcome the Holy Spirit on this platform for allowing me to have the courage to bring this topic and to bring my guest on this platform. So share massively. Invite people. You know someone that has been through sexual abuse, rape, or you don't know somebody but you've heard of someone, or you've never heard of anybody but you read about it. You will find out the reality today. So what is sexual abuse? Sexual abuse, people don't like to talk about it because some people, it's because it's taboo, but not only because it's taboo, but it is shameful to talk about it. It is it's gross to talk about it. It's goosebumping to talk about it. It is painful to talk about it. It should never happen, so we don't talk about it. But the reality is, whether we like it or not, it is happening. Whether we like it or not, it is happening mostly under our nose. It could be happening to your neighbor. It could be happening to your relative. Unfortunately, it could be happening to your child, like it or not. Sexual abuse is when sex is done in an abnormal way. When it is not done in the way God intended for it to be done. When it is not done in the way law states and structures it to happen. That is abuse. The word abuse means it's abnormal. It is wrong. Now, rape. This word is horrible. It is, just talking about it makes me feel like somebody is in pain right now. Rape, we're going to talk about consent on this platform. Rape is sexual intercourse with no consent. When one party sleeps with the other party with no consent, force doesn't even come into it. Because a lot of people will say, oh, she didn't cry, he didn't cry, it was not by force, he didn't cry, it was comfortable. Did the person say it was comfortable? Did they agree to have this? Whenever it is done, the act is done without both parties agreeing, it is called rape. Whether you tore the person's clothes or not, whether the person was in pain or not, whether the person was screaming or not, it is called rape. The key word here is consent. Non-consensual sexual intercourse. That is rape. Now, I was surprised one day talking to a mature adult, a Christian, a servant of God. There was an issue on the news about a woman having been raped. And this is a taboo subject, I said. So I'm talking to you reality. So please follow me carefully. Don't go away. Listen to this. I was very surprised talking about a very painful issue about a woman having been raped that was on the news. And this servant of God, this adult, this mature adult, says to me, I do not believe she was raped. She's old enough to scream. She's old enough to say, I don't want it. She's old enough to, she's got the power to say, I don't want it. If she didn't say, I don't want it, it means she was in on it. She liked it. So I don't believe in her crying rape. And that day, I lost respect for that person. But then I sat down and I thought about it. Then I realized, no, I shouldn't lose respect for that person. It's a lack of awareness. Just because somebody is an adult doesn't mean they've come across everything under the sun. Doesn't mean they know everything. Now today, I am saying to whoever is watching that rape is defined as a non-consensual sex. Whether the person screamed in pain or not, if they did not agree to the act, the person that does the act to them is committing a crime. I'm going to give you some definition. So the FBI defines rape as any kind of penetration to another person regardless of their gender, because some people seem to think it only happens to women. So men rape women, women cannot rape men. That is wrong. Women can rape men too. Women can abuse other people as much as men do. So regardless of their gender, without the victim's consent. Does it have to be forceful for it to be deemed as rape? No. Now, it is very wicked for people to think you can just take something by force. It is very painful to think you can grab a child. Very disturbing for an adult, whether you are male or female, to grab a child and think you can toy with them as your sex toy. It is wrong. It is absolutely appalling. It is destroying lives. It has destroyed lives. It has destroyed people. I sat down last year, towards the end of the year, and I had somebody that I know very well explain to me how they were sexually abused as a child. And it hurt me because at the time this was happening to them, I was around. I was alive. I was only 14 years old at the time, and this young woman was 8 years old. But I was around. See, I told you before, it could be happening from right under your nose. I was not in the same house, but I was in the same neighborhood. I was in the same street. I was in the same church. I was in the same vicinity, and I was around. But I did not know this young girl was being abused. I did not know how to stop it because I wasn't told, and I did not know. And when she told me as an adult, I was distraught. I was in pain. I was in tears. I didn't tell her I was broken. Every time she told me every detail of what was done to her, it was tearing my heart apart bit by bit by bit. Because I thought, this helpless 8-year-old, I wish I was there to help her, to tell on this perpetrator. Today you have a chance to listen to this show, to have signs and symptoms, to look around you, to listen to victims, to support them and know how to help them. So before I bring you my next guest, we're going to go on a short break. When we come back, I will introduce you to her. You're watching Talk to Me with Rose Bijou Ramirez. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Talk to Me. I hope you've invited someone. I hope you shared. I hope you are commenting. This is very serious. This is very, very serious. Thank you, Women Artists in Action, for sharing. All of you that are connected, thank you so much for praying for this session to be amazing. Thank you to my family, Esperance Bukasa Ramirez, and all the team of Christianity Daily Empowerment for being connected and sharing. I will look at your comments later, but right now, I gotta face my guest. Hello.
Hi.
Oh my goodness, you're so soft-spoken. You're so sweet. Look at me and bring up that little voice like you're singing, but add a little bit of volume to that voice. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I just want you to tell the audience your name first, and then I will continue with the questions about introducing you. So who are you? What is your name? And what brings you here?
Hi everyone, thank you for connecting with us today. My name is Nina Kabesa, and I'm here because I've heard so much about the show, and I wanted to talk to you guys about something that's very important in our community.
Talk to me, Nina. So Nina Kabesa is very modest. She didn't tell you who she is, but she'll tell you in a little while, but I'll just quickly introduce her. So this is a mompreneur. She'll explain to you guys why mompreneur. She's a singer.
Oh Lord.
She's a writer.
Here we go.
She is also a talk show host herself. Nina Kabesa Show. She took a break because she's just had a beautiful baby called Mfumu.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know Mfumu, Mfumu means king.
Yeah.
So this boy is born with a wonderful royal name, Mfumu. But we're here to talk about serious stuff, so we will talk about the mompreneur bit in a little while. Nina,
Yes.
I just want you to tell me a little bit about what you understand by sexual abuse, personally.
Personally, for me, what I understand about sexual abuse, it's obviously, somebody who got involved into a sexual act without them having any knowledge or know what it was that was being done to them. And either they could have been lured into it, because people sometimes think it's forceful, but sometimes it's not forceful. All it takes is just to get somebody who hasn't got a clue what it is being done to them.
Okay.
So for me, that's what a sexual abuse is. Somebody who's done sexual contacts with somebody but not knowing exactly what is it that I've just done.
So the abuse, so we're talking about the victim that is having an abuse happen to them, but they don't know what is being done unto them. They don't understand exactly what is being done unto them. Wow, amazing. Thank you. Do you think we should be talking about this?
I personally think that sex should be talked to kids the moment they can speak. They could be explained to them what it is, what part of the body that people cannot touch, even mommy or daddy or uncle, anybody. These things are very important, because in our culture, they always say that if you speak to a child about sex when they're young, you're putting it in their head. But when they go to school, they get taught about things. And school's putting things into their head. So why can't we prepare our children? Because I believe in prevention than having to go through the thing. Because prevent the kid. Because my kids, from when they're young, I talk to them. When I shower them, it comes to a stage, especially the girls. Like my little girl's 4-year-old now. When she gets showered, her sisters or anyone that's showering, they cannot, wash her on her private part. She has to do it herself. It's called preparing them, so that when things like this happened, they know that, no, that's something bad. You're not allowed to do this. Because I wasn't prepared, and most of us who go through it were never prepared.
I like what you said. Prevention is better than cure. So when you say we don't talk about our kids, we say we shouldn't, do you mean the African community, the Christian community? Who do you mean the we that don't talk about it but should talk about it?
When I'm talking about the we, I'm mainly focusing about the Christian African community.
Okay.
Because there's this thing about talking about sex being a taboo in our community, the African community, and the Christian community. And I'm talking about black churches, and I'm being very precise when I say this, because these are the only things that you get to hear happening. Yes, there are some other churches that things happen, but in the black churches, some things are just not talked about because it's a shame. You can't talk, or it's already happened, what can you do? And you know, so many things, and I've heard so many stories. So for me, I'm just grateful that I've actually went through the process of counseling and being healed. So it's one of those things.
Okay, so we should talk about it because people are being abused.
Yes.
So whether we are shying about it as a church, as a community, as families in the African community, it's happening.
It is
So
happening.
why do you think people don't talk about it?
I personally just feel that people don't want to talk about it because as Africans, and this is not just something that's happening now, but we have to look back into history. Africans have issue with truth. They don't like to confront things, you know, head on. And I think fear also has a lot of element to do with it as well.
So we don't want to talk about it because we are afraid of the truth.
Afraid of the truth.
And then what fear?
The fear of people, what would people say? You see, this is my child, or this is the uncle or the dad, you know, what would people say? We're so afraid of what people will say, and sometimes they can demonize the situation, and most of the time it's not always, you know, spiritual, but it's just somebody is just a sexual manic person who does that to whoever it does it. But they demonize things. So to avoid all of that, you know, drama from people coming in and start questioning and how can this happen, and you people are here, and so people shy away. They don't want to speak. They will literally, some will even tell the child, you know what, don't say anything.
Okay.
You know, don't say anything, just let it go, forgive, you know, and that's the point where I really get peed off.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much. You're watching Talk to Me. In a very few seconds, you'll find out why Nina is on this platform. We should talk about it, whether you're a Christian, whether you're an African, whether you're whatever color or race you are, is because it's a reality that is very painful. So, Nina, you, because we spoke,
Yes.
are you a sex abuse victim or are you a rape victim?
I was a rape victim, if I may say that, because I don't like to associate myself as a victim of rape anymore.
You were.
I were. So I try to avoid. So I'm more of a victor from the situation of me being raped.
So I deliberately asked the words, were you, let's put it in the past because it's in the past, were you a rape victim or a sex abuse victim?
I was a rape victim because it was full-on intercourse.
Thank you very much. Now, it's very painful, people of God, beautiful creations of God watching. God created us men and female. God created us young, beautiful, male, whatever color we're in. But unfortunately, God is not in control of our hearts. One thing God does not take away from anybody He has created is the free will.
Yeah.
You've got the free will to decide to take the good or the bad. You've got the free will to do good or to do good or to do bad. Unfortunately, some people choose to do bad. And so, Nina,
Yes.
can you please tell us and the people watching what exactly happened to you as a child? I want you to talk us a little bit briefly through that day.
Okay.
First of all, tell us how old you were and what happened. I may stop you to reiterate the questions.
I was around the age of 6, 7 years old, and it was a usual routine of coming back from school and walking past. Only this time I was walking back home by myself. Usually I walk with a friend. I will go down because I spend time at their place and then they come down to my place. And where we live, you know, in Congo, every house is like on the hills. So we were living down and they were like on the hills. So as I walked past this room, the door was open and there was a person that I know because this is somebody who lived in the borough. Everybody knew, well, we knew who he was, because everybody in that place where I live know me anyway. So I knew who he was, and there were other kids inside because he was teaching them, you know. And I think it was mathematics he was teaching. So he called me.
So he was a teacher?
Yeah, he was one of those private teachers that teach people.
Private tutors?
Yeah, but I think he was also an army, because we lived in an army barracks. So because of that, I think that's also sometimes parents, when I'm not around, they go away and then they'll get like what they call private tutors.
Private tutors,
yeah.
Yes.
So he called me as I walked past, and I came back in. He goes, oh, come and sit down with us, because they were like all sitting there studying, and come and study with us. And he bought me something, and I was there with everybody else. We were listening and everything. So when everything finished, it was not time, and all the people were getting ready to leave, and I was also getting ready to leave. And he goes, no, you stay, you know, stay a bit long. And I'm like, okay, sure, because I didn't think anything of it, because everybody that knew me in that town, because I lived in Kambadiadingi in Congo.
Sorry, so this is a story that happened in the Congo. Nina is a daughter of a soldier, can I say that?
Yeah, my mom and my dad. Well,
Both
my dad
parents.
is late, yeah. But
so you lived in a camp.
Yeah, in
so
an
it's
army,
like an
army barracks.
An army barrack, that's the word.
To say,
the army barrack.
Yes.
And this particular tutor
also
lived in that army barrack
as well.
And he was a private tutor for children.
Yes,
okay.
as well.
Carry on then.
So I stayed, and you know, the conversation was like going, oh, he goes, oh, you know, come, let's go in this place. There was another room to the main room where we were, and he goes, oh, let's go in this particular room. So I thought, okay, let me just go. I don't know what it was that was happening. And then the moment he closed the door, I just knew something wasn't okay. But then what do I know? I don't know what it was or what was not. And to cut the long story short, it's like everything that happened in that room, from my, can I say knickers or pants?
Yes, please. I mean, I know you will be cautious enough to use the correct words, but please describe enough for the audience to understand.
So
we are talking about this.
All I know is that I was laying in the bed, and my knickers was taken off, and I don't know, I can't tell you how I feel. Like as I was telling you before, it's because I must have gone through the shock of the pain of whatever it is that happened, and I just numbed out. Basically, there was no feelings. I can't tell you what I felt, but I smell his breath.
Oh my goodness.
On me, and that is something that I always smell on me, because I think he was drinking something that was really strong.
So he was drinking alcohol.
Yeah. So that smell is the only thing I could recall, because I remember even when I was going through the counseling, I told them that's the only thing I can recall, but he was definitely on top of me.
Okay, so as painful as this is, this man took you into a room when everyone else was gone, and he took your clothes off. You were 7.
Yeah.
You were 7 years old.
Yeah.
And this man penetrated.
Yeah.
And this man sexually abused you.
Yeah.
And you couldn't feel anything.
No.
You can't describe if it was painful right now.
I can never tell you to this day, no matter how many counseling I go through or hypnotism I go through, I just never felt. It's like as if my spirit dipped in. You know, there's this movie that's out there called Get Out, and there's this hypno thing that people do, and it's like you just sink in. It's like I just sinked in, and whatever he was doing, I just was not in it. I just was not. It's like I just couldn't feel anything.
Okay, Nina, first of all, I want to say you're so strong. We're hearing you, and I am listening to you. It's like I am living this with you.
I know.
You are so strong, and may God bless you, and may God give you the strength to finish this show.
Sure.
I am sorry that this happened to you.
I did say don't cry.
But I have to get the information across
fine.
for the audience.
Yeah.
So you were in shock, because what happens is when, like some people when go through a car accident, when your leg is cut off, there are people who cannot feel their leg.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If you are under anesthetic, those of you who are medicals,
Yeah.
who are medics watching, if you're under anesthetic, what happens is the medication numbs you. If you're given a spinal anesthetic, for those who've had children through epidural,
Yeah.
you are numbed from waist downwards, so you cannot feel anything, but you can see and hear everything. So when your body goes into a shock, whether it's a car accident or in this case, the violent abuse that Nina went through, she was a tiny little thing, a tiny little body, and this man inside of her, her body went through trauma and shock. So all the nerves are paralyzed and you do not feel anything. So what Sister Nina is explaining right now is a body going through shock and trauma. Therefore, she could not feel anything. But you could hear him.
I could hear,
and you could smell him.
The smell.
The heart of man is so wicked. So wicked. Okay, when he finished, what happened?
When he did that, he got up. There's a toilet just in the room. So he went to the toilet, but there was a knock on the door. Then he told me to stay here. Don't make any noise. If you make any noise, you know how it is, just to threaten me. So I stayed in the room. He left and closed the door. I was just lying there.
But you could hear the people in the other room. I could hear the
people in the room. So he opened the door, and I heard two voices coming in. Oh, you know. And if one of them asked, "So what are you doing?" And he just said, "Oh, I've just got something at the back," you know. And it was like, "Oh, you can go and finish it." So
okay, say that again. So he told the people he was talking to do what?
To go and finish.
To finish what?
I have no idea what it was that he started. So so one boy walked in the room, and this one I knew was a boy because it looked like he was coming from a secondary school because he had a uniform. He must have been like 14 or 15. So he came in and did whatever he had to do. Me, I was still lying there. And then he went, and then there's a last one that came in. Again, I think he was young, same age, and did whatever he had to do. And as he was obviously going, then he went to the toilet and peed, and he just left. So after that, I think for me, I was just lying there. So when the men came in, I think at this time, whether it was drunk or not, he was in very deep sleep. All those people left, but I was still in the room. And I remember, I can't tell you what I was thinking, but I was just there because I always see myself there, just lying there.
I need the audience to understand this, as painful as this is. So this man raped you, sexually assaulted you, and he called in partners to also gang rape you at the age of 7.
Yeah.
This world is wicked. And you still think we shouldn't talk about this?
You have to.
A 7-year-old coming home from school gets abducted, taken into a house, gang raped by people she knew. And then we should still hush about this? Are you watching this and are you thinking this is normal, that we shouldn't talk about this? So what happened next? Why didn't you scream when he was asleep and shout and cry? Why didn't you scream?
That's a very good question, because that's exactly what the counselor did ask me. So what I'm going to answer you what I told them. And what I told them was, I didn't know what was happening to me. So screaming and talking, because I was a pretty bright girl in that town. Everybody knew me. I was very intelligent. So screaming and talking or going to speak to somebody about it would be like, who taught you this thing? So there was all these things going through my head. It's like, who is going to believe me? I don't even know what it is that happened. But if
you were 7,
you know.
But you were a child.
Yeah, but I was never exposed into sex.
Nobody told you about sex.
Nothing.
Nobody has told you no one should touch you.
I was just a child who would just play on the sand with the friends, you know, cook in the tin.
You did not know this was sex. You just knew something happened.
I just knew it was something bad. I just knew it was something bad.
Oh, Nina.
But I didn't know what it was.
Oh my goodness.
You see. So it's very hard when you put in a situation where you're thinking, okay, you're a child. It's like, I look at my 4-year-old, for instance, and I see her when she's 7, or even I've got girls now. When I look at them and I'm like, they don't know anything.
You went home.
Yeah,
How did you leave that house?
When he was sleeping, I sneaked out. I finally got the courage. I got up. I sneaked out. Although my legs were still shaking because they are shaking now as well. So it's like, as I'm telling you, I'm reliving it. So my legs were shaking, but I walked home. I went down the hill. I just walked normal. But in me, I was not the same anymore. Because I now start to think in my head, what has just happened?
Oh my God.
So I went home, had a shower. We had a bathroom.
You went home.
Yeah,
You had a shower.
had a shower. I didn't want no one to know. I had to get rid of the blood because I knew that I was bleeding because I saw the blood. So
You didn't want anyone to see you
No.
bleeding.
no. And my parents, obviously, they're always working, and we always have like domestic workers in the house, and they were in the kitchen. So I walked around the veranda to the front where the living room was. I went straight into the toilet because the toilet is always like on the other side. The bathroom, we had a shower room and a bathroom, so we always used the shower room. So I went to the shower room, had a shower and everything, and did everything I had to do, and I just went to bed.
Oh my goodness.
I just went to bed. I just went to bed. Because like I didn't want to be seen, because I didn't know what happened.
Nina, you're 7.
Yeah, but
You're bleeding. You're in shock.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you tell an adult so that they will go and deal with this man?
Yeah, but you're also forgetting that I'm being raised in the community, and when you're very intelligent, you're very bright, they will think that you've learned it from one of your friends, and
So you felt they would blame you
of course,
for somebody else
Yeah.
raping you.
obviously.
What gave you that idea that you would
Because
be
we see
blamed?
it all the time. You see your friends going to the fathers and saying this happened, and they get shouted at for speaking the truth. So when some people,
But you're bleeding.
yeah, this is what I tell people. People don't understand the reality of being a black African who, raised and brought up in Congo back in those days. We're not talking about now. We're talking about back in those days.
I have to really stop crying on this show. I have to stop. We're going to go on a short break.
Yeah.
Can we please take a short break? We'll be right back.
Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue chez la gracieuse Service. Retenez que la satisfaction de nos clients est notre priorité. Nous sommes habilités à livrer la nourriture en Afrique. Nous livrons à Kinshasa, Lubumbashi et en Angola. Nos agents travaillent dur pour satisfaire nos clients. La gracieuse Service vous livre à domicile. N'hésitez pas, passez votre commande. Allez sur notre site officiel www.lagracieusservice.com et vous verrez un menu contextuel. Faites votre choix, nous vous contacterons le plus vite possible. Vous êtes les bienvenus. Yabiso et Komaka. Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue chez la gracieuse Service. Retenez que la satisfaction de nos clients est notre priorité. Nous sommes habilités à livrer la nourriture en Afrique. Nous livrons à Kinshasa, Lubumbashi.
Welcome back to Talk to Me, people. Thank you. Talk to Me, like I said, it's about talking to real people about real issues that real people are facing, people with real life experiences. I could sit here and talk about what rape is, what sexual abuse is, but if I bring you somebody who's been through it, you hear from the horse's mouth. The experience that you hear from her will be like reading a book and understanding the real experience raw, and it will give you more insight, and you take away a lot more knowledge that you will use to help somebody, if not yourself. So I'm hoping you are listening carefully, and I'm hoping you are sharing, and I'm hoping you are learning. So Nina, was, I asked her a question in the beginning, deliberately, was she a rape victim or a sex abuse victim? She was actually both. So this is me talking to you as a nurse. So the reason she was a sexual abuse victim is because, as she described herself, she did not know what's happening to her. So she was sexually abused by an adult who knew perfectly well what he was doing.
Yeah.
And she was a child, not knowing anything about sex, not even knowing what her private part was intended for.
Exactly.
She's just a child. Nobody explained to her, this is your private part,
No.
this is your virginity, this is your femininity. Nobody had explained that to her. And then something that she felt was horrible happened to her. Up until now, she still did not understand what was happening to her. So she was a victim of sexual abuse. And then she's a rape victim. Why? Because somebody did something to her without her consent. If you are under the age of 18, well, most countries the age of consent is after the age of 18. Some countries the age of consent is 16 years old. So up until the age of consent, you can't consent to any sexual intercourse anyway. So she could never have consented to this act being done unto her. Even if she was coerced, even if she was lured into it, even if somebody sort of brainwashed her, she still was in no position to consent to that act. So she was a victim of sexual abuse. You showered, you
Yeah.
cleaned up. Did you tell your parents
No.
later?
No.
You still didn't.
No.
So what was going on in that child's head? Did you go to school? Did you see this man again? What was going on in your head?
Honestly speaking, and I'm sure a lot of people will relate, is for me, what was going through my head was, I've done something wrong.
Okay, you did something wrong. You were blaming yourself.
It was me. I just saw that it's something I'd done, because it's like, okay, I let this happen. I wasn't thinking how, but I just felt like the blame was so on me, like I just wanted to hide.
Why did you blame yourself? Why did you think it's something you did, and what could you have done?
I think for me it was the fear of when he called me, I shouldn't have gone in.
So the blame started
Yeah,
there.
that's where.
Why
that's
did
where
I go
blame,
when you
why did I
called
go?
me?
Because in my head I was rehearsing, saying, it's like seeing my parents say, what have we told you about going into people's
Houses. Okay.
So all of that was going through my head. So I just thought, if I just keep quiet, don't be around people, because everybody knew me in Nakamba. The thing is, like, people knew my parents because of me. So I was bubbly, going places, but I changed.
You changed.
I became very just to myself. I didn't want to associate with anyone, because I felt like if I stick around people, they're gonna find out. They're gonna know.
Okay. And so you became an introverted child. How
Yeah.
did you do in school after that?
Badly.
Your grades
I
dropped.
used to be first, second, or third, but I really just went.
So your
downhill.
grades dropped.
Yeah.
What did your parents say when you started dropping your grades?
I think for them it's just like, oh, you're not studying in hard enough or not. But I have in one of my book, A Woman Like Me, I actually have got my certificates of, back then they would show you the primary schools, they would show you like your grades, and you can actually see it, how it literally was going down. But I didn't mention it in there, but the reason why I put it there is so people can actually see, how I was all doing great, and then suddenly everything just went
Okay.
down.
So is it you started dropping grades because you kept thinking about the incident?
I mean, it's like I'm 7, yeah, and I've got this heavy burden on me that I feel I did something with somebody who's much older, and it's like no one knows.
Fast forward. When did you actually tell your parents?
I think my mom just found out literally, what I can say, that literally we sat down and I told her about it. It was when I was writing my book, A Woman Like Me, because I told her that I was going to mention it in there. you know, because that's the book where I mentioned about my rape inside. And that's when I told her, and I kind of like...
When is this?
My book was released, A Woman Like Me was released, I think, about 2 years ago.
So from the time you were seven you
to
only
2
told your
years.
mother
Yeah, my
you were
mother,
raped
yeah.
and sexually abused
2 years ago.
2 years ago,
Yeah.
here in the UK.
In the UK.
What was your mother's reaction?
I think for my mother is more of like, where was she? People may ask, where was she or anything. So that I had to explain to her that actually it's got nothing, you know, she didn't do anything wrong. Neither did my dad, or neither did I. Well, now I know I didn't do anything wrong. But it's just that these things happens. And sometimes you have to speak about it so that people can be freed.
Thank you. We're going to talk about symptoms
Yeah.
and signs or the effects of people who've gone through sexual abuse or rape. This is real. Anytime a grown adult sleeps with a child who's of no age of consent, it is sexual abuse. I want to get this really across. I don't know who's watching, but I hope you're sharing this. Anytime an adult who is of the age of consent has intercourse with a person who's under the age of consent, it is statutory rape
Yeah.
automatically, and it's sexual abuse. You will find yourself in a sex offenders list if caught. Whether you are a woman or a man, because people think only men sexually abuse, only men rape.
No.
If you are a woman, you're accused of rape, the case goes to court and you are guilty, you will be on sex offenders list. If you abuse children, anytime you're an adult, you have intercourse with another adult without their consent, it is illegal. It is rape. Now, let me get this clear. It doesn't matter if it's your wife. Doesn't matter if it's your husband. Doesn't matter if it is your child, your cousin. If you have sex without consent and the person, the victim, reports you, you are arrested and the evidence points against you and the victim is right, you will be arrested, you will be convicted, you will do time in prison. Time for rape is at least 10 years in the UK. If you are accused of rape, the evidence points against you that you did it. You will be imprisoned for 10 years, if not more, if other counts are around. I'm going to go back to Nina. I want to ask her about this perpetrator.
Sure.
Nina,
Yeah.
did you ever feel the need to report this man? Now, you are older now, you're an older woman now, you now understand what happened to you was wrong properly. Do you ever feel the need for you to actually go and tell on him for him to be arrested? Did you ever feel you want him, you want the world to know what he did?
When I went through the counseling and through it all, so in 2011 was actually the first time I decided, okay, I'm going to go back to Congo and I'm going to really go and confront this particular person. Because I knew
2010.
2011. So I went to the trip because it was also a nice trip to go and see my dad at the time. So I went there and I, went there, but obviously I still didn't tell my dad why I wanted to go to the Kamba Diading, because he wasn't living there anymore.
You wanted to go to that, what did you
Kamba
call it?
Diading.
What did we call the place in English?
Army Barrack.
The Army Barrack.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Army Barrack. So I didn't tell him why I wanted to go there. I just said I want to go and visit some people there. So I deliberately went there and I deliberately passed through the house. Now,
You wanted to confront him.
yeah,
My goodness, you're a strong
I
woman.
wanted to go and tell him of what he did, and I wanted to find out why he did it, because I
Wow.
was older at the time, and I was going through I went through healing, so I just thought to myself, and I became a Christian at the time as well, so I wanted to forgive him. But for me to complete my forgiveness, I had to see him, and I had to speak to him, and I had to ask him, why did you do that? I mean, who hurt you? Who did? Because sometimes people who abuse people
It's
have been
because they were
through
abused before.
abuse. Yeah, so I just wanted to find out, you know, why. But to my surprise, when I went there, the actual house where he lived was boarded up. And they said apparently no one can go there because after I've left, you know, Congo to come to Europe, he was told that there was a man who lived there who was like an evil person, and he was abusing children.
Oh, so the secret came out after you had left.
After I'd left.
So that's the thing. People who abuse don't just abuse one single child.
No.
So he was a serious offender.
It
So he would
was
abuse
somebody-
children.
yeah.
So somebody found out.
So what the men then tell me is that, oh no, they said that there was something wrong with his head, his mental wasn't alright, there was something because he was just doing things to, you know, children and things. So they had to get him out, but he's dead already. So
He's dead. So he
he's
died.
dead, yeah.
Also, you couldn't confront him.
No, because he was already dead.
There is something you said here. He was mentally disturbed. I've heard this excuse before in the church. Not the church where I pray, but about, you know, from a church somewhere. That he was demonly possessed. That's why he was abusing children. Okay. In the spiritual realm, everything happens in the spiritual realm and then in the physical, okay? In the spiritual realm, yes. Somebody has to be mentally disturbed and demonly possessed to be sleeping with a baby. Correct. But, Nina, should it stop with prayer and us deciding he's just mentally disturbed and we're not going to do anything about it? We're just going to pray for him, for the demons to leave his body. Should it stop there? So somebody is sexually abusing children, raping women, raping men, raping boys and girls, but we're saying he's only spiritually disturbed, demonly possessed. We're going to pray for him and we leave it at that. Is that right?
That's not right.
Is that what you would want?
No, that's not what I would want. What I always tell Christian is, you know, we have to understand the spiritual things are spiritual, we do not see it. But sometimes for the prayers to work, somebody needs to be locked up in a room. So what that means is you need to get that person arrested, whether it's going to be in the cell or a mental institute. Because when you arrest them away, they cannot harm anybody else. Prayers is great, but as long as this perpetrator is walking around, he can go to the next person and do it again.
And that's how the victims are increasing because
Yes.
people aren't telling. Now, I want to ask you, if you're a mother now, right?
Yes.
How many children do you have?
6.
You've got 6. Wow. This beautiful baby face has got 6 children.
Baby face.
You look beautiful.
You don't see
and
the
I
grey
like
hair.
that. Let's make it smile a little bit. I like that going on your face. They're like a little queen. Like
but I am
queen.
a from royal family, you know.
Yeah,
so
you're royal.
show
Definitely you
it,
are.
you know.
And so you got 6 children.
Yes.
So let's think about, you got girls.
3 girls, 3 boys.
Okay, let's think of one of your girls, God forbid, comes to you and says, Mommy, somebody did this to me. I'm talking about sexual abuse.
Yes.
You're a Christian. You're a mother. What would you do? Put yourself, you're
In
the
their
mother
shoes.
of this 7-year-old that was you at that time. Now this 7-year-old comes to you and tells you this. What would you do?
Me personally, even if you're like my husband or anyone that I'm associated with, if any of my children comes to me and tell me, whether you're an uncle, whether you're whoever, auntie, whatever, I'll report you straight away.
You'll do what?
I'll report you straight
But then
away.
you're a Christian.
And-
Shouldn't you be forgiving?
Oh yeah, the
Shouldn't you
forgiving-
love and forgive?
Listen, let me break it down for you.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I'm a child of God, and yes, I'm a Christian. Yes, we're supposed to forgive sinners, but you have to understand, wisdom is better than anything. The wise thing to do is to get that person arrested first, because what you're doing is you're removing the bad seed out of the world,
I like that.
locking it away, then you're praying for them.
Okay.
Leaving the bad seed outside in the world isn't gonna change them, because they're still in the same environment, the same place, and they're gonna keep doing the same thing. But when you remove them away, it's like a habit. You remove them away and they go away in the cell. They won't rot in hell, but you've taken them away from that habit, giving them a chance to think about it. And you've saved, you know how many people?
Okay. Nina, you were sexually assaulted, left for a gang rape.
Yeah.
So he didn't just abuse you, he allowed other children.
To do it.
So it means he had already initiated a team of people who were
That
doing
do that.
this.
Yeah.
Now, you are saying if we are in this situation, we find out about people like him, we need to
name it.
report them.
Please do.
You are,
Please.
can you tell somebody, please?
Okay, if you've ever been sexually abused, first of all, in England, please report. Even in Africa, speak to somebody. Please report it. Because where there's one, there's always another. They always walk around, and most of the time, they're all friends. They're all friends. Because if you grab one, chances are the rest of the friends are doing exactly the same thing. So that's why you have to.
Okay.
Very important.
The effects of sexual abuse, as I was saying earlier before we went on break, it's destroying lives.
Yeah.
There are women, I've watched a few documentaries in the Congo. Rape is a big thing in the Congo, especially in the eastern Congo.
Yeah.
Women are being raped like they don't matter.
Yeah.
Congolese people who are connected, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Even Angelina Jolie and other American actors have entered into this. They've got charities that are going to the Congo. Not the Congolese people, Americans, people in Europe, in America. I've seen this, it's terrible. And they are going to the Congo to help these women. Why? Because it is wrong. We had Dr. Mukwege, who's a Congolese man. God bless him, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. He felt that it was his burden to help these women who were sexually abused and assaulted because they lost their lives. Lives are being destroyed. Husbands are leaving their wives because they were raped.
Yeah.
Now, I need you to understand, when people are abused, lots of them, they talk about already blaming themselves, like Nina said. They are worried about rejection. The very reason they don't talk is because of rejection.
Yeah, who's going to believe you?
The husband is not going to want me anymore. I am unwanted. Can you tell me about how you were feeling? I mean, you were a child, but you grew up still with, as a young adult with these feelings. So what were you feeling?
I remember most of my age of growing up, and just for the information for everyone that's out there, from when I got raped at the age of 7 right up until I turned 18, that's how long it took me before I could consent to any sexual act. But growing up, I grew up as a tomboy, and it's something for me that was easy, to just be wearing jeans and baggy stuff. And
you decided to become a tomboy?
Yeah, I was very manly, everything. I always used to hang out with the guys and the dude, and just it was easier for me. But I wanted to hang out with the boys because I wanted to understand what happened to me. Because
did you want to become a boy?
I didn't want to become a boy, but it's like wanting to be closer to the person who did this to me was a man. So I wanted to be closer to that kind of being,
the gender, to
understand, why. Because for me, it was the why. Why is the question I was asking. It's like, why? Why is the only thing that really was in my head is why. I don't understand how people can be so cruel like that. Why?
So the side effect was that you turned into a tomboy.
Yeah, tomboy.
And I've read that other people who've been through sexual rape or sexual abuse, sometimes they go through gender confusion.
Yeah.
It also can change their sexual orientation.
Yeah.
If this gender hurt me, I would move into the other sex because I don't associate with that gender anymore. Because if a man could rape me, maybe a woman would understand me better. So let me become, relate more to this gender. So people who've been through rape and abuse, sometimes they go through gender confusion and complications in their minds because they feel hurt by the other gender.
Of course.
Okay.
So it is very hard, and as much as I would say it is spiritual, but we also have to look at the physical part of it, because I think for me it was the acceptance of, I came to a moment where I knew that I can't change what happened to me, so I had to accept to live.
So was it comfortable for you to get into, was it easy for you to get into a relationship?
Even to this date, it's never easier for me to get into a relationship.
Is it why? Is it because of the trust issue, or what is it?
It's because of my own personal thing, where it's like, okay, I was not a virgin and my virginity was taken when I was young, so it's like I'm never going to be a virgin.
You never consented to your virginity being taken away.
Yeah, I never consented it, but to get into a relationship, will the guy just be the only sexual partner for me? Because for me now is the question of, I just want one guy to be my only, mine only. Because I feel like what's the most important, because in Africa, you know, being a virgin is the most important
Yeah,
thing.
if you're not a virgin, people will think you're messed up goods.
You know,
you're not good anymore.
You're not good enough anymore. You're
Yeah.
spiritually damaged and all those things.
People judge you because you're not a virgin.
Yeah.
You are loose.
So for me, it was very hard to get involved with any man, because they will find out, because I won't bleed. They would just know, because every person, every virgin I was hanging around with at the time just knew that, you know, hey, when you have it with a virgin,
the first time
they bleed. So my blood already left.
You're
so
innocently taken away.
Yeah, so it was really hard. So I adapted into this thing where I would talk to guys and until I feel very, very comfortable. And there was somebody that, you know, I was talking to, we were working together and everything, and I felt very, very comfortable around them. But before the actual act, I did tell him the story, you know, which did help a little bit, you know, but he was a virgin, I wasn't. And then things happen, and they happen, but it never progressed.
Do you ever feel that to attach yourself to somebody, you always remember that incident? Do you have flashbacks when you're with somebody else and you're remembering those incidents?
I can't do one night stand, because I think if I try to do one night stand, it will bring back, I will feel as though I'm just being raped all over again. But all my partners were my baby fathers that I've had, you know, and they all can vouch I'm not really a sexual person, but neither does it mean that I don't know what I'm doing. But it's just that for me, love is not just that, you see, and that's where it is for me. It's not that I think about the incident that happened, but because I'm healed, I don't think about it, but it's still there.
What helped you heal? Talk to me about the treatment process.
What helped me to heal was to revisit it when I did a hypnosis.
So you were hypnotized. So you went to a doctor's clinic and you were hypnotized.
Yeah, because I had a counselor and the counseling was going on and I was speaking, everything was fine, but there was a dark place in my mind that I couldn't tap into.
So hypnosis helped you to tap into that dark place. What
so
happened?
I think for me it was fear. So when I tapped into the place, it was the room where the incident happened.
You went back to that room in your hypnosis.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And
how painful.
I felt everything. Even just talking about it is like I'm feeling exactly how I felt at that time.
I'm sorry.
But then I told the person, because they were trying to get me to feel, you know, but I told them everything, the room, the bathroom, the bed on the floor, the smell that the guy had on him, oh gosh. And then when it came to trying for the feeling, I just couldn't feel anything.
Okay, so some people go through severe loss of feelings, as in they don't feel anything anymore. They don't feel sadness, they don't feel anger, they don't feel love anymore. So that compassion goes away. And like Nina said earlier, people who abuse tend to abuse because that compassion for the other person moves away because of the anger.
You just don't have
that
feeling.
Somebody hurt me. Somebody took away my innocence. So why should I feel sorry for other people? Why should I love other people? Why should I care for other people? So a lot of abused people or sexually abused people or rape victims, they go through a time where they don't feel for other people anymore. They can be angry all the time. They don't feel remorse anymore for what they do because somebody took away that feeling from them.
We just don't care, because I went through a phase where I hated men. I really hated men.
You hated men?
Yeah.
Okay. So counseling helped you. What else helped you?
Apart from counseling is when I first tried the relationship, when I got pregnant, because I had an abortion, but it's my second pregnancy. The first one, there's no way I could have had it because I was just starting having a relationship, and you know, I tried. It's like, for me, it was like I tried the intercourse after the rape incident, and you know, and how it was and not, and then I just get pregnant. Come on, I'm not ready for that because I'm still dealing with the rape issue. But then it was my second pregnancy, which was my daughter Nicole, and you know, is carrying that pregnancy for me was like something to look forward to, something
Okay.
away from the bad that
So
I have.
it took you away
It
from
took
thinking
my
about
mind-
the bad
yeah,
things.
It just took my mind away from myself, and then for a change, I get to think of somebody else.
You were looking after somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so, and when she turned out that it was a girl, I remember in hospital, like, I was crying, but at the same time, I wasn't crying because I was just happy there's a girl, but I was also crying because I'm like, oh my God, I have to protect her.
You have to protect her. That's what I want to tap
Yeah.
into. So, you had treatment, you had counseling. You now have your own child, so you feel you need to protect
needed to
her.
protect her.
So, what is going through your head about wanting to protect this child? How will you protect this child?
I was so strict. Nobody would change her nappies. I was just very watchful.
Nobody will touch your daughter's
No.
sexual part and change the nappy.
It's
No.
like, if you want to change
Is
nappy,
that
I would just
psychological
be.
then?
It was like, for me, it was like, it's like, I just, like, I don't want no one to do anything to her. Because it
you feel
happened
if they
to
change
me.
her nappy, they could abuse her.
Anything, because you hear story, people can put fingers, can do all sorts of things. People are just crazy. The things that you hear people do, you're thinking, how could you possibly just do that?
Okay.
So yeah.
So advice. I'll give a scenario. We're about to finish very soon, but just stay connected and share.
Sure.
I'll give a scenario. A woman is living with a boyfriend. Her daughter comes to her and tells her, your boyfriend, daddy, sexually assaulted me. A woman is with a partner who is not the father of the children, and the father of the children did something to the child, and the child comes to the mother. Mommy, this is what has been done unto me. And then the mother says, you are trying to destroy my relationship.
Jesus.
Nina, what can you say about that? So you said you wanted to protect your child. Now you bring somebody into the environment that this happens, you're going to blame your daughter? This is real story, by the way.
I'm shocked, first of all, because I'm just trying to not to.
Yeah, you're trying to destroy my relationship.
Because my mind is now going to the child.
Yeah, you want my man.
I think there's something wrong with the woman. She either had a mental issue, or she was not ready to have a mother. Let me tell you something about children. A lot of people are having children for the sake of having children. Children takes responsibility.
Yes.
And it's not just physical, it's not just putting clothes or food in them, it's mental and emotional.
Yeah.
We need to be emotionally connected. There's a video that I tagged you in, but that's that different thing.
Yeah, I watched it,
But
yeah.
we need to be emotionally connected to our children. Me, for instance, I have kids from different partners, and yes, I know one day I'm going to get married. That's like the biggest thing that I know I will accomplish in my life. But there's no man in this planet that will come into my home and do something to any of my children, and I will put them before my children. Never.
So your ultimate rule, so when a child comes to you and says, this has been done unto me, your first instinct
I
will be to
will
protect the
report
child.
you.
To protect the child.
I will protect the child.
Okay,
I will
thank
pick up
you.
my child, take him to the police, report. I won't even tell you. I will just go.
Parents, child protection is paramount. The reason Nina is here is because she was raped and sexually abused as a child. One of the reasons she's given is not having been told, don't let anybody touch you. She did not know anything about it. But she's so explained that it's important that we talk to our children about sex. So it's important to also believe our children.
Yeah.
I am so against African
Who don't
or
believe.
any woman, whether what color you are in, or any man, that a child comes to you and they say to you they were sexually abused, the first thing you do is blame the child. One of the reasons Nina could not tell anybody is because she was worried about being blamed.
Of course.
That she was a loose child, as in loose sexually. She gave herself up to this
Because
man.
the
She looked for
Parents
it.
always sees the negativity. I could just see how they'll be like, oh, what were you doing there? So it's you, it's your friend. They will just create all these things.
Negative parenting. So the child will not feel they can talk to you. So when you go into a blaming game, a blaming mode, the child feels I cannot tell you anything. So they will not disclose. So as parents, we need to draw our kids nearer unto us. So they feel they can trust us to tell us anything. Even if you suspect there is a little bit of lie in there, you do not blame the victim.
No.
The victim is always right
Until
until
proven
you
guilty.
investigate
Thank you.
and you find that the incident did not happen. Mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers. You hear of
Really
a brother in the
frustrating.
church, a sister in the church, a child in the community that comes to you and they disclose a sexual act being done unto them to you. You do not blame the child.
No.
You do not blame the victim. If your friend comes to you and say, brother, who raped me in the toilet? You do not say, how can you be a big woman and allow yourself to be raped?
Thank you.
Rape means without consent.
That's
and
it.
it's not always forceful. Rape can happen in your own house.
Yeah.
You invite a friend to dinner that you think is a brother you love. You think it's a sister you love. You are friends. But some demon gets into their mind and they decide that is the day they're going to
It's
do
not
the
even-
deed to you.
It's not even the
without you
demon.
wanting it.
They
Now,
prepare it.
it doesn't have to be by force. It can be very looking calmly because you are in shock. You don't know why you're taking my clothes off.
They
It can
prepare.
be your boss. Because you want that job so well, you go into your boss's office, you are talking about the job, and your boss takes your skirt down, and your boss takes your pants down.
That's it.
That is rape.
Yeah.
Sometimes, because the person has got a position of power,
A
you
lot.
do not feel you can say no.
Yeah.
It does not mean you consented.
No.
You've got to say yes to the act.
Yeah.
If you did not say yes to the act, it is rape.
Yeah,
Nina.
absolutely.
Now, why the book Love is Not Sex?
Love is not sex. Just for those of you who's watching, like Hosby, you just said that I've just given birth and I had a very traumatic birth, which I was in the
another
coma.
testimony we're gonna give that, my goodness.
So when I came, because I came back from a coma 9 weeks ago.
God bless you, sister.
So when I came back, I realized that my kid could have lost me. Nobody would have been there to tell them things. So I started writing every single knowledge, every single thing that I know into this very small series of pocket books, you know, that I can leave, that my kids will always have. At first that's what it was, but then I realized, why limit it to my kids when I can give it to other kids who have parents who are so irresponsible, you know, so that they can at least have that voice of a mother, because I believe is a woman that, you know, raises children. So love is not sex for me. It's because I was raped and it was a sexual act. It wasn't love. So
a lot of people associate sex with love.
no,
He loves me, so
No.
I will sleep with them. She
No.
loves me, so I will sleep with them. So love is not sex. Sex is not love.
no,
Okay.
it's not.
So in this book, what message are you trying to give for people who were watching you? They know you're a
In
writer.
this book-
What message are you giving in this book?
in the book of love is not sex. Well, the message I'm trying to give people is to learn how to separate. The message I'm trying to give people is a lot is happening in the world. We have people loving each other from the same sex and everything like that. But really what it is just sexual act. It's not love. Love is a spirit. And when you have that spirit living inside of you, you will love everybody and anyone. Anyone that knows me know. I'm just like, love is my trademark. That's what I say. I love everybody regardless. There are women, sometimes they think that I'm a lesbian. I am not. I just give people love, because what I find is love builds people. And it's an experience I went through, because when I came to discover God's love, that's why my first single, Changes, says God's love changed me. And if you've never received God's love, you will never understand what I'm talking about. So you cannot even associate God with sexual act, because it's the spirit of God. That's exactly what love is. And loving people so deep, you don't need to be close to them. They can be so far away from your words, how you're speaking from your inside, and you're pouring out to them. They will feel it, and then people will change. Love really changes, but it's not sexual.
No.
It really is
You
not
can sleep with
sexual.
somebody, have sex with them, and not love
It's
them.
no, it
Okay.
really isn't.
God
really
healed
isn't.
you.
Yes.
God allowed you to forgive this person. Have you
Yeah.
forgiven yourself?
I've forgiven myself, yes.
Because there's a lot of unforgiveness that settles in sex abuse victims. So you've forgiven yourself.
I've forgiven myself. It's very important for
Because
me.
it's not your fault.
No, it's not.
You were 7
No.
years old.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
It's never been my fault.
Rape is never your fault.
Never.
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 Never. Good. before we're gonna close now, I want you to give advice to a mother, a father, a parent, because you were a child who was raped, but you could not tell your parents. I want you to address the audience. Tell parents how to be with their kids, how to protect their children based on your experience.
Well, based on my experience, but before I go further, I also just want to give a shout out. There's a friend of mine called Celestina who has a book about parenting, and she's African, but she's really trying to get a lot of Africans to understand parenting.
She should talk to us.
Yeah, so I'm going to get her to get in touch with you. So for me, all I'll say is one of the things chapter she has in her book is about effective communication.
Effective communication.
Effective, not just communication, not just you come here, do this for me, go and get me that drink in the fridge, go and do. No, effective communication where your child can come to you and talk to you and say, oh, you know what, this is my plan, this is what I'm doing. Have that habit of making them, you're a parent, but there's nothing wrong with you letting them see you as a friend. It helps, because if you keep being so, commander, major in the house, hard, they will go outside.
But you told me something. After the rape incident happened, the next day you just went to school and didn't come back. You got back when your father beat you up.
No, I wet myself the next day, and my dad beat me because that's just standard or African people.
I'm not talking about parenting. So you were raped, you slept,
and I wet myself.
You wet yourself because you were in shock. You woke up the next morning, your father beat you up.
Yeah, why did I wee myself?
Why did you wee? Why did you pee?
Because you're not allowed to wee yourself.
You're not allowed. Not knowing yesterday you were
what
actually
happened. Yeah,
raped.
it didn't. And when they beat you in Africa, they take all your clothes off in front of your friend, and you get a lash, basically. Yeah.
So you were raped, and then you were given a lash by your father.
And then I ran away.
Parenting.
And then I ran away for one day. It was a whole day. In the morning, I just got up, left my house, and I walked. I walked past like Cité Verte. I walked past Epen. I just walked. And then I reached somewhere where I found like a nun or Catholic thing, and then they drove me back to Cité Verte where there was a church.
You ran away from home because you were running away from pain. You just wanted to run away from everything that was pain.
Yeah, because it's like I didn't want people to know. I couldn't explain myself to people, so I just wanted to be alone. I just wanted to try to make this thing understand.
What other books have you written? Because I think it's been quite therapeutic for you to be writing books.
Yes, very. Writing.
What other books have you written, if you can just talk about them quickly?
I have written, there's some books I've written. There's a series of Walking with God as a Single Mother.
Walking with God as a single mother. You've got 6 children.
Yeah. I know. And I'm not having any more.
Can I have that?
Yeah, sure. This is the 3 series.
So
it's actually 4, but the 4th is not yet published because the 4th one is different.
So you've got a book, Walking with
God
as a Single Mother.
Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4.
Oh, this is a nice picture.
Yeah.
So where can people get these books from?
At the moment, my website is being built, so you can inbox me and then I will send you orders because I have physical ones at home.
Are they on Amazon at all?
Yeah, Amazon. You can get the Walking
with God.
Yeah.
Oh, this is an actress. Is she an actress?
That's my sister Audrey.
Oh.
Yeah.
She looks like an actress, I know.
Oh, wow, we do look like that.
Wonderful. So final advice to a young man out there who thinks it's okay to sleep with a woman without consent. What can you tell that young man or young woman?
Well, young man, young woman is not okay. And personally, if you're thinking it, and I think it's because you've gone through some trauma yourself. And I think you need to get help, get somebody to talk to somebody about the problem that you've gone through, because hurt people really do hurt other people, and I can never stop saying this. So you have to go to counseling. Black people don't believe in it. I tell you now, go to counseling, because if you don't go to counseling, you're going to keep hurting people, and before you know it, you're 100 years old and you're gone.
So thank you so much, Nina. A lot of people that have been abused, they go through a lot of depression. Some don't like themselves anymore. As we mentioned, some go through gender confusion.
Especially
they want to change sex. They want to, if they were a woman, they were raped by men, they want to become a lesbian because they feel I can relate more to females because a male is the one that raped me. If they're a male that were abused by another male, Sometimes
there
they may
is.
decide to change their gender to become a woman because they feel the sex that I belong to is the one that actually
hurt
abused me. Because there are men, unfortunately, who rape boys.
Yeah.
So it does happen. But what message I want us to have to draw away from this today is that people's lives are traumatized. People's lives are being changed.
Yeah.
People's lives are changed negatively by sex abuse. It's
Exactly.
not okay for an adult to have sexual intercourse with a child. It doesn't matter how in love you think you are. The law does not see it
It's
as
just
love.
not okay.
If you are an adult, you are in love with someone who's under 16, under 18, depending on the law of consent in your country, it is not seen as love, it's seen as pedophilia. Now that's another topic for another day. If you are an adult, you are in love with somebody who's under the age of consent, it's pedophilia.
It is
if you
pedophilia.
commit the act of sex with them, pedophilia, it's sexual abuse, it is rape. If you are an adult who has sexual contact with another woman or a man without their consent, it is rape.
It's rape.
So men and women, let's get it correct. Don't assume the woman likes it rough.
Ugh.
Do not assume the man likes it rough. Ladies and gentlemen, it has to be consent that this is what I want. You both agree to the act. If you are acting rough, the other person says stop, and you do not stop, and you get accused of rape, do not say that woman does not love me, she wanted my money, it's demon, it's a devil's work. No, you are the devil for yourself. I've seen a lot of people with rape cases, they will say that woman had it in for me. But you stood there and you said she likes it rough. On that very particular day, did she tell you she wanted it rough? Did she tell you that's what she wanted? No. If evidence at any point points that you never accepted consent from that person, you raped her. You will stand in that court of law and you will go to jail.
Yes.
A lot of people say, oh, they just wanted to trick me. It's the devil's work. No. Sometimes your words can trick you.
Yeah.
Think carefully. Every time you are with a partner, do they consent to the act? If they do not consent to the act and they accuse you of rape, my brother, my sister, you are done for. Children, if somebody touches you in an awkward position, you have the right to say no. And please tell an adult. Adults, if a child or a person comes to you telling you something indecent happened to them, believe the victim first.
Absolutely.
Investigate, offer support, and then you can say it was wrong later.
Yeah.
Do not assume this one could not have raped them because they've got an angelic face. A lot of abusers are people we know.
We know, yeah.
Nina's abuser was somebody in her neighborhood.
Yeah.
People that we know the story about Tamar. She was raped by her own brother in the Bible. Somebody she knows. Now that's another story. But most of the times, people who abuse are the people you know. So do not say because they've got an angelic face they can never do that. So when somebody comes to you with something so serious, first thing you got to do is support them.
Yep.
Be kind. Show love. Show support. They have been broken. Rape is not just physical. It's mental. It is spiritual.
Exactly.
This person, Nina,
And
until today
emotional
remembers the
as well.
smell
Yeah, the
of the
smells.
breath of that man.
Yeah.
She was 7. She remembers the breath of that man. It stays with you. So you need to help the person heal. So when they come to you, first thing, listen to them.
Yeah.
Support them. If you cannot support them, refer them to somebody who can support them. Pray for them. They need deliverance, but more than anything, they need counseling.
Yeah.
They need psychotherapy.
And they need love.
need love because love has been taken away from them.
Yeah.
They were been betrayed.
Yeah.
Love does not hurt, but this one has hurt me. So love will never be something they believe in anymore. So you got to restore that love. So we're going to close today with this. And I just want Nina to say hello to some people and then we're going to finish. So I just want you to understand that sexual abuse is not okay. Consent is the key. Child protection is paramount. Let's protect our children. Let's support the victims. And let's tell on the perpetrators. If they are doing the crime, they need to do time. The law is
They
that
need
the
to be
Bible
locked
says we
in.
need to obey the authorities
That's
where
lock
we
them in.
live. You need to get them locked up so they will get correction. I've said it.
Thank
Nina,
you.
give some shout outs.
Everything she said, I'd like to say a shout out to everybody who's been watching. And Celestina Onier Thomas, she has a book, The Art of Discipline, and I think everybody should get it. She's an African, and she wrote it for African. Everything she does is for African, because she really wants us to change. And I've actually am one of the testers of the things that she does, and it really is good. And Giselle Mack, thank you. Angelic Voice, and basically everybody else who's been following. My mom Lucy, and my daughter Nicole today, she got her A-level, she got passed her
Congratulations,
A-level.
Nicole.
So
Keep
I just
it
wanted
up.
to give her a shout out for that.
Yeah.
And all my children basically.
Okay, thank you. I want to thank Jay, Mike, and Heaven Above Studio, bright and colorful studio. Thank you so much for a wonderful platform. I want to thank Women Artists in Action. If I forget the name, Mama Giselle, please remind me quickly. So Mama Giselle, Matt, my mommy, Mama Nicole, Sister Laurette, Sister Nathalie Diba, Sister, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting.
Yes, sister.
Sister Giselle Matt, sorry, I got distracted there for a little bit. Mama Dina Kikala, Mama Jolie, Noli la Jolie, Maman Patty, Maman Social, Maman Blandine Selala. Oh, let me not forget anybody. I don't want to get into trouble.
Lord.
Ikem Kudinga, my goodness. Ikem, the brain behind all the leaflets, all the
Lovely.
adverts. Ikem Kudinga, my sister, I love you. Thank you so much for the support. Women Artists in Action, thank you for the prayers. Mama Marcelina Ramirez, my own personal intercessor. Thank you, Mommy, for praying for me all the way from Angola.
Amen.
Esperance Bukasa, Pastor Bukasa, Eric, and Mireya. Thank you for your support. I see my sister Rosie from Belgium. Oh, Rosie, God bless you. Sister Sandra Pedro. Sister Grace Mushia, Favor. You guys have been connected from the beginning. Sister Esther Tambwe, Mama Annie Ile. God bless all of you for being. Sister Fifi, Mama Françoise Royalty, Golden Hand. You know, there's so many of you. I can't say all of you. I can't see all of your names because there's so many comments coming up quickly. Bruce J. Lubaki, all of you, thank you so much for connecting. I want you to share this video massively because there's a lot of lack of awareness out there. A lot of men think they can just take and go. A lot of women think they can just flaunt it and take it without consent. It's not all right. Especially as Christians, God does not say do not forgive. He says forgive. He says love. But God has given us the ability to respect the law. You commit the crime, you will do the time. Unfortunately, you will do the time. So, gotta love you and leave you. It's Talk to Me. If you have a story to share, please contact us. This is your platform. Let's make people informed about issues. If you've got an advert you want to advertise, please contact me on Talk to Me. Advertise your product with us. If you want to support this platform, because everything is money, please don't forget the account details will be circulating on your screen. Just drop anything you want to drop in there. Every little helps. We need funding to help people going through trouble, help people in Africa, help people here, give people support that need it more than anything, keep this platform going. So if you do share your money, however little it may be, God will help you. I have a GoFundMe going on about a sister, Menet Kachivire, who is waiting, we were trying to stop deportation. If you see that link of GoFundMe going there, please contribute and God will bless you. Finally, Nina, I want to thank you.
Thank you for having me.
For coming to talk to me.
You're
and
very
thank
welcome.
you for bringing this very painful subject, but speaking so boldly about it. May God continue to bless you.
Thank you.
Can we pray for victims, you and me, just
Yes,
now?
we
Can we
pray
just
for
say a word of prayer and ask God
Yep.
to increase them,
Let's-
to encourage them, to
Yeah.
protect them.
You ready?
Yes, let's pray.
Okay.
Father,
Lord,
in the name of Jesus,
we come
thank you
before
today.
you today
We
and we pray for every single victim
person,
who may
Father.
be going through pain right
Lord,
now.
you know the pain
Out
more
of
than
the
we
pain
know.
of what I've just
Holy
spoken.
Spirit,
But I just want to speak to somebody
just
today
help
and let you know that your
Jesus.
pain has a purpose. As
Hallelujah.
you can see me here today, you know my life has a purpose.
Lord, help.
Pain was there,
Lord,
the devil inflicted whatever it needed to inflict it, but God as
In
always
Jesus'
turns it
name.
for our good
Amen.
because we love God.
Amen.
So the pain that you have, I'm just here to tell you is for a
In
purpose.
Jesus'
So you
name.
need to trust in the Lord.
Amen.
You need to trust in God.
Amen.
And you need to speak. God cannot do
Amen.
anything for you unless you step up and speak. Take
Father,
the
we
first
thank you for
step.
healing.
Thank you.
Father, we thank you for healing.
Amen.
In Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you all. Talk to Me continues. Until next time, be empowered, be encouraged, be uplifted, and don't
Amen.
forget to talk to me.
Talk to Rose Bijou.
Let's say bye to them. Bye.